This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, a Dunedin contractor has had a lucky escape from a potentially fatal fall. Politicians have visited McAndrew Bay and Bathgate Park schools as part of an outreach program. And the Mid-Canterbury Federation of Women's Institutes competed at their annual Federation Cup Day. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Sophie Morris. An injured arborist was able to get himself down a tree on a Dunedin golf course this morning after suffering a blow to the head. The man was injured while up a tree on the approach to the first green on Chisholm Links golf course.
Being treated by ambulance staff before being taken to hospital. This arborist lucky to receive only moderate injuries after an accident high up a tree at Dunedin's Chisholm Links golf course earlier today.
Arborist was still in the tree, he was conscious, but injured. He'd been hit in the face.
Firefighters were preparing to rescue the man from up the tree, but in the end he was able to get down on his own.
We were getting ready to rig up our line rescue gear. We had a specialist team on their way as well. The patient ended up descending himself.
Emergency crews were able to take over once the injured man was safely to the ground.
So we just sort of assisted him where we could and then handed him to the ambulance.
A St John spokesman says the man was taken to Dunedin Hospital with moderate injuries. In Dunedin, for the South Today.
Balclutha firefighters used cutting tools to extract victims from a crashed car yesterday, watched by members of 10 Clutha District Volunteer Fire Brigades during a refresher course. Fire and Emergency New Zealand Regional Trainer and Station Officer Ed Oscom says it's important new firefighters learn to work with what's on hand when they arrive at an accident. Yesterday's course was at Kaitangata was a refresher for first responders. Oscom says while there's a common scale of equipment, each station has slightly different gear on board their engines. The new firefighters learn how to protect the scene, stabilise the vehicles, and to try to do as much as they can with the resources they have at their disposal. Politicians have visited McAndrew Bay and Bathgate Park schools as part of an outreach program. The Speaker of the House, ACT leader David Seymour, and representatives from Labour and National were quizzed by inquiring young minds.
Mr. Speaker?
It could be said New Zealand Parliament's Speaker of the House, Trevor Mallard, has a similar job to teachers, maintaining order in a robust environment. To those who just see question time, Parliament can seem like preschool, which is one of the reasons why he's taking members around the country.
Well, I think part of demystifying it is getting a cross-party group of members out, people here from Labour, National and ACT, and I think that's good. I think there will be some focus during the time that we're here on arguing, because there are some issues which the school kids who are here want to debate and have a decent discussion about.
ACT leader David Seymour is one MP who's not afraid of taking a stand on an issue he believes in, but says teaming up like this is a nicer side of the job.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, we've got very young people. We've been to 2 primary schools. Very old people. We've been with Grey Power, and it's one of the warmer parts of our politics is when politicians from different parties come together and try to advance the greater good of our country and the esteem of our Parliament, which hopefully we're doing.
David Seymour wasn't able to stick around at the Bathgate Park event and was barely off his laptop, as it was the day after his voluntary euthanasia bill passed its second reading.
Getting a margin of 70 to 50 at the second reading shows that we've got the numbers to go all the way and give those New Zealanders suffering at the end of their life the choice that they would like to have.
While Parliament is known for debate, Trevor Mallard says sometimes politicians work together for the greater good.
Often major legislation goes through Parliament with everyone in agreement. Yesterday we had 4 bills that went through in 3 hours. One of them went through 119 to 1 and the others all went through unanimously.
Students taking part enjoyed the process and, while learning how it works, also thought politicians could learn from their school how to treat each other better.
It's actually pretty cool to be able to order people around, but that's obviously not what our Prime Minister does.
People are very noisy and like yelling at each other, and they don't raise their hand, they just stand up.
The parliamentarians yell at each other a lot, and they're disrespectful to each other.
It's like there's a lot of yelling, and it's a place where you can argue a lot.
While in the South, politicians were asked largely environmental-centred questions, but also about overpopulation and what Parliament smelled like. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A light dusting of snow on Otago University's registry building lawn may have befuddled more than a few people yesterday. However, it wasn't a case of an extremely isolated snow shower, but rather part of the setup for the filming of the Hollywood horror film Black Christmas. The university's Gothic-style registry building was temporarily transformed into the fictional Hawthorne College. Actors and crew could be seen filming in front of the building. More than 70 students have been cast to act as extras in the film, and images from the filming will be used by the university for promotional purposes. American film and television production company Blumhouse Productions is producing the film, which will be released in December by major movie studio Universal Pictures. Sponge rolls, steamed puddings and wool garments were on show in Ashburton last week as the Mid-Canterbury Federation of Women's Institutes competed at their annual Federation Cup Day. It's nearly 70 years since the local ladies catered for the Ashburton leg of the British Lions Rugby Tour of New Zealand.
From good old-fashioned sponge cakes to good old-fashioned knitted blankets, just some of the many items on display in Ashburton recently at the annual Federation Cup Day. Every year since 1951, the Mid-Canterbury Federation of Women's Institutes have competed for the title of Best Women's Institute in the district.
This is what they're competing for, the Rugby Cup.
Yes, the Rugby Cup, donated by the Mid-Canterbury Rugby Union in recognition of the catering efforts for the game against the touring British Lions at the Ashburton Showgrounds in June 1950.
It's an annual competition, and institutes are competing for the Rugby Cup, which is most points over all the competitions in the 5 sections.
Members compete in 5 sections, including cooking, flowers and craft. The best representative is put forward by each institute, and after judging, points go toward the final cup result.
We have 123 members in our federation, and they are all very competitive.
There's 8 remaining women's institutes in the district. For the record, this year's Rugby Cup was taken out by Wakanui in Ashburton, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. The Department of Conservation is defending the use of 1080 in Otago, and we hear of a bittersweet ending to a love story which began around World War II.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
Ricky here from Beds R Us Dunedin, your local sleep specialists. Come in and try our huge touchscreen sleep selector, taking the hard work out of choosing the right bed for you. See you here.
The season has changed, and at Alec Campbell Menswear in our 3 stores, Cromwell, South Dunedin and Mosgiel, we have it covered. Check out these jackets. They'll keep you warm and dry and stylish. Of course, we're known for our fashion shirts, but in the winter we do have our lovely warm shirts. Look at them all. And we're known for our great range of winter knitwear too. Don't forget our stretch moleskins, 6 colours.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
We'll keep you warm and dry and looking just great.
It's too late to sow seed, but don't despair. Ready Lawn is the answer to all your garden woes. Call Ready Lawn today on 027 22 88 190.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent. And where viable, we will come to you.
We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Oh mate, I'm thinking about getting a new ute.
Welcome back. Dunedin's claim to the world's steepest street may only last a few more days. A Welsh bid to unseat Baldwin Street as the world's steepest is thought to be only a few days away from being officially decided. Residents of the small seaside town of Harlech, North Wales, are confident their street is the world's steepest. Baldwin Street's world record gradient stands at 36%, but Harlech residents claim their winding narrow street has a gradient of about 37%. The Department of Conservation says some native birds in Otago beach forests could face local extinction without aerial control. This year has seen the biggest production of beech tree seeds in 4 decades. As a result, numbers of rats, mice and stoats are expected to increase with the abundance of food. In Otago, mohua or yellowhead are one of the native birds identified as being at risk from predators. DOC is expecting rodent numbers to reach levels requiring aerial control. 5 priority sites have been identified, including Makarora, the Blue Mountains and the Catlins. Christchurch artist and author Lynette Hedrick has just finished a novel about a romance between a New Zealand woman and an American sailor during World War II. She says her book was inspired after reading letters written by her mother to a US serviceman she met by chance in Auckland in 1942. But unlike the novel, which ends happily ever after, the true story has a more bittersweet ending.
When I first saw the letters with Lynette and I read through some of them and looked at what she had, I just said, "You've got to write a book."
It started in 1942 in May. She was studying hairdressing and it was her day off to go to the movies, and she was just sitting on the tram dressed in the appropriate outfit, beautiful hat, gloves and coat. And then all of a sudden this beautiful sailor with a big chunky pea coat stepped on board. He had arrived in on the USS Regal. Their mission was to teach the New Zealanders how to build hospitals, the docksides to protect themselves against the invasion. The boys had got settled into lovely, beautiful Auckland. And during that time, they danced and they danced and they danced because they both loved to dance. Then all of a sudden, they were told they had 24 hours. They saw all of the army boys were stomping on board the USS Regal and they knew she was getting ready for war. he had to part with her and board the USS Regal, and she had to watch him sail away.
We rode off to Washington, D.C., and when the Navy got wind of what we had, they assigned a liaison officer. We got the position of the Regal every day of the war. The historical backdrop to the book is absolutely accurate.
And the letters, they're not, he can't tell you exactly where he is, but they're so deep in his description of the different areas that he faces. I would give anything, Matty, to be with you, to hold you in my arms and kiss you, but it looks like fate doesn't intend for me to have a wife, a home and children. Every time I go up to the front, I have a feeling I won't be coming back. I never saw the letters until I lost my mother. My mother passed away tragically in an accident here in Christchurch, and many years later, actually, I had enough courage to read the letters. Darling, I'm just back from a few awful days up at the front, and I was overjoyed to find 2 letters. At least you don't have the noise of bursting bombs and gunfire grating on your nerves and the stench of death all around you. June 1943. Darling, another letter to let you know that I'm still all right. I've learnt to relax quite a bit when the things are rather trying at times. Falling bombs and shell fire doesn't bother me near as much as it did and used to. I guess I've become sort of used to it, and now about the only thing I worry about is when you and I'll be able to see each other. Dear old Dad, Sid, knew all about this. He was the cousin of one of her hairdressing lady friends. The returned serviceman had to face a lot of difficult interactions because it was war and things had got a little tipped upside down, and so he knew, but she had waited. She waited for a long, long time, many years.
After the break on the South Today, more than 1,000 fine feathered fowl were on display in Canterbury at one of the country's longest running poultry shows. And we'll see if the mild and fine weather is set to continue.
Young dancers of the present and of the future, my last word is to you.
The season has changed, and at Alec Campbell Menswear, in our 3 stores, Cromwell, South Dunedin and Mosgiel, we have it covered. Check out these jackets. They'll keep you warm and dry and stylish. Of course, we're known for our fashion shirts, but in the winter we do have our lovely warm shirts. Look at them all. And we're known for our great range of winter knitwear too. Don't forget our stretch moleskins, 6 colours.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
We'll keep you warm and dry and looking just great.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
late to sow seed, but don't despair. Ready Lawn is the answer to all your garden woes. Call Ready Lawn today on 027 22 88 190.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
Welcome back. Over 1,000 birds were on display for judging in Christchurch over the weekend at the annual Christchurch Poultry, Pigeon and Bantam Club show. The event's been running since 1867 and each year sees more smaller clubs using the event for their own annual show.
She's got a nice eye colour, doesn't block the vision.
Discussing the merits of just a few of the 1,000 entries at this weekend's annual Christchurch Poultry Show. Judges explaining to the audience what they're looking for in a bird. John Taylor says they explain the process as they go so that owners can learn more about breeding.
It's actually really good. It's a good learning experience for a lot of them too, because they, you put a bird in the show and then you go home and come back the next day or whatever, and you never learn anything. But putting them in here, open style judging, you can, we're here with our microphones talking about everything.
The competition's been running for over 150 years. This year's prize for Best in the Show went to a black Pekin Bantam Pullet. Winning chook breeder Brian Dunlop and his showing partner have a long history with the event.
I show it with my partner Alan Gray, who's 91, and he has a really strong interest in the birds. He's shown for many years as well, and his dad used to back in the 30s and 40s. I did as well back in the 70s and 80s, and we've been back showing about 6 years.
And it's not the first time his bird has won first prize.
She's a very good shape. She's got a lovely head on it. She's got a really nice tight wing, which you're looking for. She's got great foot feather, good cushioning in the tail. She's got nice, they should be round at every angle, round from the front, round from the back, round from the side. And yeah, she's just a really lovely bird. And you would really trouble it. She's been to 4 shows and won the major thing 3 times. So, and was runner-up to her sister on other occasions. So she's had a very good season.
The Araucana lays eggs with distinctive light blue and green coloured shells. This year saw the Araucana Club join the weekend's event, and next year will see the addition of the Pekin Club's annual show to the lineup, ensuring there'll be plenty more to crow about. In Christchurch, for the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. A Dunedin contractor had a lucky escape from a potentially fatal fall. Politicians visited McAndrew Bay and Bathgate Park schools as part of an outreach program where debates were held about the length of a school day. And the Mid-Canterbury Federation of Women's Institutes competed at their annual Federation Cup Day with a sponge bake-off among the competition's events. And time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Hayden.
Good evening, Sophie. How
Good
are
evening.
you?
Good, thank you. And you?
Good. Although we could have done with a little bit more news today, but there's some bits and pieces. There's some interesting bits and pieces. Mosgiel RSA, that's sort of been in the news a lot this year. We have some more developments in that story. The locks have been changed at the bowling club associated with the RSA. We've got some more details on the whole decision to sell the RSA rooms. It affects a lot of people. There'll be a lot of interested people out there, bowlers, members of the RSA, Mosgiel people who like popping down there. So more on that tomorrow. And an interesting weather story, which I must admit I only know a little bit about, but it's out of our South Otago office. And apparently there's no more drizzle in South Otago. That's been a discussion point all day. Why not? Why is there no drizzle? There's only rain now in South Otago, apparently. So I would love to tell you more, but all I can say is read tomorrow's ODT and find out why do we have a drizzle crisis in South Otago and what that means. Oamaru, now obviously you and I both know Oamaru's full of great people doing good things, but unfortunately some people have tagged the World War II monument in the centre of town with some unfortunate graffiti, which is not much fun for the town. No one's happy about that.
No.
The bus hub in Dunedin we've got a story looking at, okay, it's been 4 weeks since the bus hub came in. How do people feel about it? We talk to businesses, we talk to passengers, we get a sense for how the bus hub's going. So that'll be well read. It's been a big big story this year. And finally, some sport. Obviously, we're looking at the All Blacks. They're being named tomorrow. Fingers crossed for some of our Highlanders. But also a yarn with Lance Pearson, Otago basketball legend. He's been made a life member of Basketball Otago, and Jeff Cheshire's done a lovely yarn with Lance, who's seen and done it all in 60 or 70 years with basketball. So sports pages should be a feature tomorrow.
Right, well thank you Hayden. All of that and more in tomorrow's ODT. And time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Molnap.
Starting with our southern view, St Clair Beach under a gentle sunset. Looking at the situation, a north to northwesterly airflow brings showers to western areas tomorrow, but the airflow will tend southwesterly on Wednesday, with some more widespread showers developing. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect a rainy day and 14 degrees. Across the northeast, the wet weather continues over on the east side. Nelson and Blenheim are likely to have showers and 13 degrees. In Canterbury, it's due to be slightly more pleasant with clouds but no rain predicted. 14 in Kaikoura and 13 for Christchurch, and a moderate 15 in Ashburton. Looking at the southern towns, fresh northwesterlies with a few showers. The Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore can all expect a high of 12 degrees. Travelling westward to the Central Lakes, Wanaka can expect moderate northerlies and late rain with a high of 12 degrees. Alexandra late rain and 13, while Queenstown and Te Anau have rain at times during the day with a high of 11. Looking to the northern towns, along the coast, Timaru and Oamaru are in for moderate northeasterlies, some high cloud and highs of 14 degrees. A bit cooler inland, where Twizel and Omarama can expect fresh northerlies, rain later in the day and 12-degree highs. In Dunedin, high cloud increasing tonight with northerly winds and an overnight low of 7. High cloud thickening and lowering tomorrow with moderate northerly winds. Some brief rain possible tomorrow night with a high of 14 and a low of 6. A brief period of rain on Wednesday with fresh northerlies at first, then cooler moderate southwesterlies developing later. A high of 13 and a low of 5. Heading to Invercargill, cloudy tonight with moderate to fresh northwesterlies with an overnight low of 7. Cloudy tomorrow with a few showers at times and fresh breezy northwesterlies. A high of 13 and a low of 7. Showers clearing and cloudy periods increasing during the day on Wednesday with fresh cool southwesterlies decreasing with a high of 12 and a low of 6. That's all for our news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.